muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, 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 baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy, holy name, holy breath, and holy name. Will you ease this pain? Loosen, 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 baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, 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 baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go, let go.
Shabbat Shalom. Hopefully everyone grabbed a prayer book on their way in. If you haven't, you can find them as you walk in. Large print prayer books are available on the left as well. Laney Katz, past president of our congregation, is our usher this evening. And if you need hearing assisted devices, he can point you in the direction in the office as you walk in. There are bathrooms outside to the right, though all gender and handicap accessible bathrooms are through the office toward the back. If for some reason tonight we need any kind of emergency exit, notice there's the exit you walked in, but also there's an exit here, and if you walk in through the back, you'll see an exit as well. You are going to hear a lot of noise coming from the back room. We have mics, so once we start singing, you won't really notice it. But we had a special Shabbat for our threes, and like each and every Shabbat that we have a dinner in there, the sound does carry a little bit. But it's actually one of the most joyous sounds that we can hear in our congregation, the sounds of children at playing. I remind people often that in the book of Zechariah, when he envisions what the Messianic age will be, the sounds of children at play is the image of the Messianic age. And so we get a little taste of that tonight. And so we're going to continue on page 24 as we join together in Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalachet Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem
L'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu,
Baruch Hu
L'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch. We move now into the lighting of our Shabbat candles. And even though, by the way, we will be having not only one bar or bat mitzvah tomorrow, but 12 of them as we have the adult b'nai mitzvah, we are going to actually Many of them are here, some of them are with their families, so we're really going to be celebrating them tomorrow. But because this is normally the time where we would call the kids up, I want to give them a shout out and say how excited for tomorrow we are. But we're going to call Diane Horowitz up tonight to light our candle as we turn to page 2 and 3. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who has kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. So we're on page 5 as we join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki banu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen. L'chaim.
Chaim.
Oh, tonight there was actually some juice in the cup at our tot service. I'm not sure who Practical Joke put that one together.
That was me.
Oh, Rabbi was trying to get me very purple. We continue our service on page 10. Heart's delight. Yedid nefesh avarachaman. Yedid nefesh avarachaman. Meshoch avdecha. El ritzonecha. Meshoch avdecha. Yananayinayinay el ritzonecha. Yarutz avdecha kemo hayal yishtachave yainanay yananayinayinay emu adorecha yarutz avdecha kemo hayal yishtachave yainanay yananayinay emu adorecha. Yedid nefesh, once more.
Yedid nefesh avarachaman. Yedid nefesh avarachaman. Meshoch avdecha el ritzonecha. Meshoch avdecha yananayinayinay el ritzonecha. We move forward in our prayer book. We're on page 20 as we join together in the words of Lachadoti. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקבלה, יאללה לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור ודיבור אחד, ישמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולי. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקבלה, יאללה לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם משוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקבלה, יאללה לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקבלה. Verse 5, התעוררי. התעוררי, התעוררי, גבעה אורק קומי אורי, אורי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקבלה, יאללה יאללה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקבלה. We rise together, verse 9.
Shabbat, נקבלה once more, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 לה, בני שבת נקבלה.
We remain standing, turning to page 28.
Together.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated.
Top of page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 32.
It's true. Page 32, our Ahavat Olam text, asking us to orient to this miracle that we are just loved. We didn't have to do anything, which means we really just get to appreciate it. I'm not sure I do it a lot, but we can.
We're gonna sing, we are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved, we are loved.
Loved by unending love and unending love.
Oh, we are loved,
Loved by unending love and unending love.
We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we are too weak for meeting.
Together.
We are loved.
Loved by unending love and unending love.
We are loved.
Loved by unending love and unending love.
מאהבתך לתסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
ואהבת
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohim Emet.
Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. There's a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 40.
So we make a wave. I sing, and then you get to reflect and echo those same words.
Mi chamocha,
Mi chamocha,
ba'elim Adonai,
ba'elim Adonai,
mi
mi
kamocha,
kamocha,
nedar b'kodesh,
nedar b'kodesh,
Nora,
Nora,
tehilo,
tehilo, oseh, Malechutecha, Ra'uvanecha, Bokeaya, Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zeili, Anu ve'ameru, Adonai Imlo, Le'olam va'ed. Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Bottom of page 44. V'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat Bekorei Oneg Shabbat Yismechu V'malechutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat Bekorei Oneg Shabbat Shabbat Kulam Yismechu V'itanu mitvecha Shabbat. Let's hear you. Yismechu V'malechutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat Bekorei Oneg Shabbat Yismechu V'malechutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat Bekorei Oneg Shabbat V'kidashto Shabbat Chemdad Yamin Oto Karat Shabbat Yismechu V'malechutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat Bekorei Oneg Shabbat Yismechu V'malechutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat Bekorei Oneg Shabbat L'maaseh Bereshit Shabbat, Shabbat Zecher L'maaseh Bereshit Shabbat Yismechu V'malechutecha Shomrei, shomrei Shabbat.
מכל רעות, ניגון שבת.
We rise together, turning to page 46, and then after this opening meditation, praying silently through page 62.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך.
We continue to let our prayers flow here in the YouTubeverse, the Zoomiverse. And the sounds there, it's almost like the setting on your alarm with like a puddle going over rocks. It's almost like that steady. It's so healing.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
As we do each week, we share together in a special prayer for the state of Israel. We're going to turn together to page 259. Avinu Shabashamayim, Sor Yisrael v'goalo, Borech et Medinat Yisrael Reshit Smichat Geulatenu. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shielded beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
We continue our service. We're both waiting for Ronnie to say this.
Yes.
We continue our service on page 253. Ronnie's not saying this because Ronnie is still home, but she's almost back, healing from a surgery, and we are sending her tons of love and all of those in our lives who are in need of healing. In a moment, you're going to see names appear on the screen, those who are in our community. I'd like to invite you to add other names of those that you're carrying in your heart right now, for which you'd like to offer up blessing for wellness and wholeness. May God lift up all of them. Misheberach avoteinu mikor habracha leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha le'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. So tomorrow you're going to get to hear a lot of teachings on the Torah portion and Haftarah. We have 12 students who are becoming B'nai Mitzvah adults, and the way that we did it so that we don't have just 12 Devar Torahs in a row, which would be a lot, is that we've got a few people reflecting on the Torah, a few people reflecting on the Haftarah, and some people reflecting on prayers peppered throughout the Torah, each of similar length. But I want to say a word about this week's Torah portion. And I've been reflecting a little bit on what are the major themes of the Exodus story, which is the story that we are reading this week, right? The Exodus story consists of any number of topics that you can pull out from this kind of timeless tale. Jews being slaves in Egypt, God coming down and bringing Moses and bringing 10 plagues, which then rain down on the Egyptians until they're finally freed, crossing into freedom. And this saga, which takes a few weeks to tell, right? It's about really from the start of slavery, which was last week, until the freeing through the parted waters, which is not next week, but the week after. It takes 4 weeks to tell this story. And so this week, we find Moses at the burning bush. He's getting the final kind of tail end of God's call, and then he shows up at Pharaoh's doorstep, demanding that Pharaoh let the people go and introducing the first 7 of the 10 plagues. And that's this week's Torah portion. And so there's a lot of themes that you can pull out. You can say, for example, that this portion is about the importance of freedom, about the fact that there shouldn't be slavery anymore. It could be about cementing God's place in the universe and for the Jewish people. It could be about the power of nature and the way that hail and locust and water can all do major damage. But I want to pause for a second and think about one other theme. which is that ultimately the story of Exodus is actually anti-king. And there's a reason why that is. It's because at the end of the day, our Torah portion is democratizing. The idea that one person should be in charge of everyone else, one person should be all powerful, one person should be able to dictate the future and the fate of any single person is actually anathema to our tradition. It was anathema to the biblical authors, and it was anathema to the rabbis. Now, there's no shortage of times in our tradition where we try to democratize, where we break down the border between rich and poor, between powerful and powerless. Think about small examples, like the fact that classically we're all supposed to be buried in a plain pine box, or that we are all supposed to wear a burial shroud, the same one, so that no one can take any wealth with them into death. Or think about a wedding where everybody wears that same white kittle, right? That's democratizing. So that those who have beautiful clothes to wear on their wedding, really grooms, and grooms that don't, all are kind of wearing the same thing. That in our tradition, it's really important that one person not stand above another. And in the ancient world, the ultimate sign of that was the king. And so it's telling that when God rains down punishment upon the Egyptians, Pharaoh is not necessarily immune to that punishment too. Pharaoh gets boils along with everyone else. Pharaoh's children die along with everyone else in the death of the firstborn next week. Pharaoh suffers along with everyone. And even though Pharaoh's heart is hardened and Pharaoh is not ready to release the Jewish people, God makes a point to take Pharaoh down a peg. Not because there shouldn't be kings. That might be the answer that many of us think about the story when we read the story. But in fact, it's the opposite. In Judaism, we all are kings. And that's a really important distinction to make. Now, how do I know that? Because in the ancient world, kings were considered godly. In fact, they were considered almost demigods, made in God's image. Right? If you've seen the movie 300, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, it's about the Spartans fighting the Persian Empire. People have seen it? It's stunning. It's a great movie. It's about 300 Spartans who hold out the whole Persian Empire. At the very, very final scene, there's a moment where the leader, Leonidas, knows that he's going to die. And so he takes a spear and he throws that spear and it hooks and it just cuts Artaxerxes, who's the head of the Persian Empire at the time. And look, Leonidas knows that he's going to die. He knows he's not going to win the war. But he says, and this is kind of the narrator then speaking, that he made a god bleed. And that for him was kind of the ultimate sign. He had taken Artaxerxes down that peg. He had shown Artaxerxes that he was no longer the demigod. And in our tradition, the way that we make that god bleed, that we make the king no longer the king, is to say that we all are. No longer is the king almost equal to God. Instead, all of us are. Right? If you look at the book of Genesis, it's taught that we are created b'tselem Elohim, in God's image. That doesn't just mean that we are all God. The image of God was the thing that was occupied by the king in other Near East peoples, which means that by saying we are created in the image of God, it means we are all kings. We are a nation of kings and queens. It was fascinating to think about this, and I was reading this teaching. Shai Held, the rabbi of Hadar, was the one who wrote this in a book that's going to be coming out in a few months on Judaism and love. It's called Judaism is About Love. As I was on vacation in Britain, a place where kings and queens are heralded far above almost anywhere else. I wonder what our ancient ancestors would think if they realized that there's a place like America that it's not that case, right? When when Washington was deciding whether or not he was going to stay for another term, he served for 2. His response was no, because he worried that he would quickly turn into that king. He understood that a nation can only survive if we all rise to that level, if we all see each other in that level. And for our ancient rabbis, that was crucially important. They have an audacious teaching, kind of gross actually, but I'll tell you anyways, where they ask the question, why is it that human beings were created like animals in the sense that we have to go to the bathroom? And their answer is that God knew, it's a fascinating answer, because God could have created us other, right? It's that God knew that one day there would be a king whose name is Nebuchadnezzar. He was the king of the Babylonian Empire, the one who exiled the Jews, and who would be humiliated every time he felt like he had to go to the bathroom, because that is a thing that only animals do. And so to take humanity down that peg, God created us like animals in that moment. The democratizing of the people, the fact that no one is above another, the fact that we are all created in God's image, that we are all kings and queens, is so incredibly important, but we forget it all the time. And this week, being Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, I think it's all the more important to reflect on that too. To someone who was a king in another way, who famously spoke about that democratizing. The idea that we're going to see people not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character, that two people are going to play with one another and not notice and not care about anything race related, but rather to get along. Dr. Martin Luther King's dream was significant because it broke down those barriers. It was democratizing in the same way that Judaism is democratizing. It let it all hang that we need to not see hierarchy, but to see people in front of us. And the best way to do that is not to bring us all down, but rather to bring us all up. To see ourselves created just under God. To see ourselves as those divine footprints. To understand that every single one of us carries with us a regality, holds ourselves like monarchy. And in doing so, it means that we're going to treat each other and the world the way that we want to be treated. We live in a world that likes so much to draw distinctions between people, likes to draw divisions between people, that revels in identity politics. And you know what? There is a place for that. Right? There's a place to stake your claim, to be different, to understand your people, to embrace that. But there's also a place every once in a while to fully let it go. Those who don't understand the differences of other people are blind to the reality. But those who only understand the differences to other people are blind to the power of sometimes erasing those differences for some kind of greater good. There's a lot of communities that need the opposite message. But communities like ours often need the message that sometimes it's okay to blend ourselves together, to democratize, to see all ourselves as one. And the way out of the hatred around us is to kind of hold both truths in our hand, but to concentrate more on the one we need. And for us, is the idea that every single one of us fundamentally is the same. We are all divine. We are all kings. And to not forget that. Shabbat Shalom. We rise together, page 282. Elena.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We pause toward the conclusion of our service to think of those who we have loved and who we have lost. This Shabbat, we recall the following individuals: Leonie Adler, Joan Ascioni, Herman Barron, Frank Becker, Elsie Berlin, Edith Berman, Rhoda Baez, Max Bloom, Helen Cole, Sue Cooper, Kate Krasnopel, Nathan Daniels, Ethel Dobrickin, Walter Epstein, Louis Fish, Greta Friedman, Daniel Geller, Clara Glansberg, Henry Goldberg, Ronald Elliott Goldberg, Jake Goldberg, Mimi Goldberg, Charles Goldstein, Larry Gould, Charles Gruber, Harris Gurwitz, Kurt Haller, John Hartman, Dittbrenner Jr., Herbert Holtzman, Frida Huberman, Morton Hyman, Gussie Jasic, Harry Kaplan, Ben Katz, Judy Kopp, Pauline Korn, Ruth Kosen, Jane Landberg, Manus Lazarus, Irving Levine, Clarence Maurer, Susan Deborah Morgenstern, Rose Nathanson, Sue Nussbaum, Nina Paskoff, Lillian Passner, Marianne Purton, Minnie Portnoff, Julian Reichman, Israel Rubin, Lorraine Kressler-Sadler, Kate Schwartz, Sam Siegel, Jerry Siegel, Rita Sheffrin, Alan Smith, Gordon Spencer, Gerald Sorrell, and Jeanette Weinberg. And those who are in their Shiva and Shloshim periods of mourning: Beatrice Slater, grandmother of Jamie Bedrin, Joseph Wojak, partner of Diane Horowitz, Florence Horowitz, mother of Farah Pak, Herbert Cooper, father of Debbie Shapiro, Claude Pomper, father of Karen Greenwald, June Melman, sister-in-law of Bob Melman, Melinda Melman Siegel, cousin of Bob Melman. And we announce the death of Rosalind Engelmeyer, mother of our teacher in our religious school, Malki Sineski, and we'll be sending information out about Shiva times for Malki's mother after Shabbat. We also think of our colleague down the street, Imam Hassan Sharif, who was murdered only a few weeks ago in Newark. So we're going to add to those names the following names: people for whom you're observing a yard site who might not have been on this list, or who you are within your 1 year period of mourning for. We rise together. Page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach hirutei v'yamlech malchutei, v'chayachon v'yom echon v'chayet achol Beit Israel, ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitnormam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha baruchu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, dam niram b'yama v'imru amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Please be seated. So a few announcements before we close our service. tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. chanting.
Yep.
And then, really exciting, 12 members of our congregation who are adults are going to become
A few
B'nai
of them are
Mitzvah.
in the room with
A
us
few of them
tonight.
are in the room. Stand up so we can just say
Make yourself
congratulations
known.
to you. Yeah,
Make
stand
yourself
up, stand up.
known.
Yes.
Woo!
And you'll see 10 others in addition to them, and we're excited to welcome them officially to the Bima and and celebrate with them. In addition to that, the next big thing is probably 2 weeks from now.
Indeed. Thanks to Marge and Paul Grayson in honor of Marge's mom of blessed memory, Eleanor Neifeld. We are once again bringing incredibly high quality music and food to Temple Ner Tamid. Sandcatchers, a Brooklyn-based, very groovy, Middle Eastern instruments, really cool sort of Radiohead meets like Jewish camp songs. It's awesome. It's really terrific. Please come. They're going to lead the tefillah with me and Rabbi, and then the next, right on Wednesday, 2 days before, the wife of the head of Sandcatchers, who's a chef named Leah, she is going to do a demo from her brand new book called Portico, which is a cookbook celebrating or really exploring the Roman influence on Jewish cooking. We already have them. You can pre-order one, and she's going to demo it, and then you're going to bring food on Friday night for the potluck dinner that you are all going to feed us from. Please come. It's going to be a really great night. The music will be fantastic.
Yes. And in addition to that, the week after, so the first weekend in February, is our big gala. So it's called a kidless bar mitzvah. And so it's basically the kind of vibe that you get with a bar mitzvah without those annoying teenagers. And so come, this is, I guess actually tomorrow is a kidless bar mitzvah too. But come, we'll celebrate, we'll have a great time, just good food, lots of music. It's actually not here. It's the first gala in a long time that's not here. It's at a place on Label Street and in Montclair. And so just, look, the party only works if we show up at it.
Yep.
And so show up. It's our only event fundraiser of the year. Of course, we had, the High Holiday Annual Appeal that happened throughout the course of the fall semester kind of. But this is the big event. And so come celebrate with us. And we definitely need ads for it. So if, and that deadline is much sooner than the ticket deadline. So hopefully you can get those ads in soon if you want to, just congratulate the congregation on just being awesome. We just, by the way, you may want to know this, we just hit our 600th member family this week.
Yeah.
So in the past 5 years, we have grown 120 net families, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So we are going to close today with Biado.
We are page 321, or there's some text on the screen as well.
Be'eiti shan ve'ya'ira me'im ruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira me'im ruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira.
Once more.
Biado afkid ruchi Be'eiti shan ve'ya'ira Be'im ruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira Be'im ruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.